Hey guys, Gary, grateful recovering alcoholic and drug addict. Okay, step 2, how it works in my life. Step 2, came to believe in a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And man, when we look back over our drinking careers and all of the insane behavior, the repeating the same behaviors and expecting a different result every time. You know, like I'm going to get away with it this time. It'll be better this time. And that's absolutely insane. If you're an alcoholic of my variety, the kind that they talk about in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, I'm a real alcoholic. Once I put that stuff in, I never know what's going to happen. And I set loose the phenomenon of craving. And the phenomenon of craving, it takes an act of God to arrest that. Came to believe in a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. I was completely, all I did was, you know, how I got sober was, I had a long period of time sober, 10 years, working a program. I took some prescription medication prescribed by a doctor, and it completely derailed me. The day that I took it, I took too much, and I lost my sobriety. I was too proud to raise my hand, go back into a group of all my friends that I've had for 10 years, and too proud to say, yeah, I'm fucked up, big deal, right? Instead, I stayed out there 10 years because I set that phenomenon of craving loose in my body. And it was 10 years of, I mean, I had some good times in that 10 years, but it wasn't worth the hell. It wasn't worth all the shit I put myself through, and my family. And that is insanity. You know, that's insanity. So I ask God, I do the first 3 steps every day on a daily basis. And perfect examples, you know, the first step, powerless over alcohol and drugs, and my life is unmanageable. Step 2, came to believe that a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. And then step 3, made a decision to turn our will and our life over to the care of God as we understood Him. So we don't even have to have some great understanding of God or anything. We just need to reach out and pray. Pray to that power. That power that, you know, if you're just getting sober, that power you know nothing about, fake it. And I always believed in God, and I was praying, God, please help get me sober again. Please just give me the willingness. And one day, after a couple of years of praying, man, I got COVID, and I was really sick for like 5 days in a motel room, and then I woke up and I was like, holy shit, I'm sober 5 days. God gave me what I asked, and I was willing at that point. It was like the strength I needed, I had. So those prayers worked. So the main thing is, don't give up on your prayers. Don't give up on yourself. Keep praying. It took a couple years, man. It took a couple years, because we all get sober different ways. Mine was an act of God. And I believe, you know, any way we get sober is an act of God, man, the way we drink and use. But going back to step 2, so I start out my day, I remind myself that I'm an alcoholic and my life is unmanageable. And I ask myself, do I believe that there's a power greater than myself that can get me through the day? Absolutely. And then I pray to that power, the 3rd step prayer and the 7th step prayer. But I've been, you know, take an example of complete insanity, right? I mean, there's been so many moments in my life when I'm sober and I'm completely insane. Usually if I've lost my temper, you know, relationships will push you there. I've been in relationships. I was in a relationship with a beautiful woman who passed away but we were doing AA together, and we had all the same friends, and I had the same sponsor I have now, and this was many years ago. And I remember her and I got in the biggest fight, man. And we were at my parents' house, man. It was just a bad brawl. And I was holding a water bottle. I was drinking a water bottle, and she kept hitting me, like hitting me in the face and hitting me in the chest. I said, if you hit me again, and she hit me. And I'd say, don't do it. If you hit me again, she hit me. And then I said, I swear to God, if you hit me, and she hit me again, and I hit her upside the head with the water bottle. And oh my God, I was like, oh my God. You should have seen the look on her face. She was going to fucking kill me. I didn't hit her hard. I just went thump, with the full water bottle. And she got water in her hair and everything. And my mom was there. And my mom was going, oh my God. She had to kind of get in between us because she was going to kill me. So I knew at that point, get out of the house. So I got out of the house. I took a drive. And I got in the car, and I called my sponsor, and I said, fuck, man, this is what just happened. And he's like, pull the car over. So, and I was pissed, raging pissed, and I pulled the car over, and I don't even know what we were fighting over. You never do, right? It's ego and pride. And I'm like, she doesn't fucking do this. And he goes, I can't help you with any of that stuff. The only thing I can do is direct you to God. Pull the car over. Ask God to remove that anger. Ask God to have you remember why you love her so much. Right? And I pulled that car over, and I sat there and I asked God, please remove the anger. Please remove the rage. Help me see things more clearly, and help me see why I love her so much. And man, I was struck. It's raising the hairs on my arm right now. And I was struck with, it all went away. Everything, it was gone. It was erased. I didn't have any harsh feelings towards her. I wanted to go back and make amends to her. And I did. I don't really remember how that night went down. I think what I did was I called her and made sure she was fucking calmed down, right? And she was. And I said, listen, I'm sorry. I want to come home. I need to make an apology to you. And not only that, but amend the behavior. And we had some fun. We had some battles, man. 2 alcoholics in one house, not drinking. So it was an interesting relationship. And that woman actually, we went to dinner one night, and she ate something that she was allergic to, and her throat closed up, and she went on life support that night, and we had to pull the plug about 3 days later. So. That was a hard thing to walk through, and I did it with the program. But yeah, I didn't want to get all into that story, but it's one of those moments, one of those moments in time that I remembered where prayer works, and I can't even explain to you why. But if you have the belief, and you have to start somewhere. If you don't have the belief, start faking it. Start faking the belief, because he's real, man. What he's done in my life, those chills I got up my arm when I told you guys, that's God. Those things you can't explain. This man, when this man is in temperamental rage, look out, man. Look out, because I can do some damage. And I just see red, especially in the old days, 10 years ago or whatever. And that's when this happened. This was actually 20 years ago. Just thinking about it now. But I was a hothead back then, man. And full of pride, full of ego, full of piss and vinegar, full of testosterone. And that worked. It worked, and it worked on my alcohol problem. And I have so many stories like that. I mean, I could go on forever, different kind of stories, you know, and we just have to seek that power. But you have to come to believe. And I would recommend, if you don't believe right now, the way you come to believe is faking it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. You know, this world wasn't created just, boom, we're created, you know, evolution or whatever. You know, there's something bigger than us. You know, it's like where we came from and where we will return to. You know, that's how I think of it. It's where I came from and where I will return to. It's where my son is now. You know, so yeah, it's a powerful step. Step 2, coming to believe. You know, and if you sit in meetings and you listen to people that really got this thing, that you see like, this fucker's got what I want, you know, sobriety, or just a cool life because he's sober. You know, maybe he's got a good-looking wife and that loves him, and kids that love him, and a nice home, and drives a nice car. It's okay to want all that stuff, because you're going to attain that stuff through sobriety. And sometimes that stuff comes quickly, sometimes slowly, sometimes it never comes. But it's in here is where the major change happens, when you make that connection through step 2, through coming to believe. That's been my experience. So it's 11 minutes, 59 seconds, 12 minutes. You guys, please subscribe to my channel. I fucking forgot to tell you in the beginning. Okay, so subscribe to my channel, because nobody's watching this anymore. And give me a thumbs up. Hit me in the comments box. It helps the channel grow. And the more people that see it, hopefully the more people get helped. I'm going to do a little fentanyl thing. My son, Brandon Brown, died from fentanyl. Fentanyl is the #1 leading cause of death in the United States right now from ages 16 to 45. The fastest growing group of people dying are 16 and below. That's the fastest growing group from fentanyl. Because of the rainbow fentanyl that came out a year or 2 ago. And yeah, it killed my son. The drug is made in communist China, and it's shipped to the Sinaloa cartel in Mexico, where they mix it up in bathtubs, just a bunch of idiots mixing it up in bathtubs, pressing it into pills that you would get from your pharmacy. That they look just like, you know, Vicodin, codeine. It'll look like a Xanax, you know, the Xanny bars. They try to replicate it and make it look just like the pills you'd get in a pharmacy. But here, if those pills, like the pills you get out of a pharmacy, I just want to tell you, you guys, if you're buying shit on the streets, the shit that you get in a pharmacy is fucking laser cut, laser lettered. If the pill that you bought on the street doesn't look laser cut, laser lettered, chipped away at the edges and stuff like that, don't put it in your fucking mouth, because it's not real. It was made by the cartel, and it could have a lethal dose of fentanyl in it. So we lost 110,000. It's more than that. We lost 110,000 last year in 2022. I think it was much more than that. But the government's not going to tell the truth anyways about stuff like that. They're going to keep those negative numbers down as low as they can. But put it this way, the morgues were so backed up last year from fentanyl overdoses that, you know, it took a long time to get my son cremated. It took 7 or 8 months to get his toxicology reports back, because the labs were so backed up from the overdoses. And my son died on the corner of Orange and Pacific Coast Highway in Long Beach at a CVS, and they found him in the parking lot. The coroner told me they were calling in bodies every 8 minutes that day when my son died because of the fentanyl that went out in that neighborhood. They were lethal doses of people just ODing on fentanyl. Every 8 minutes they were getting a new body, a new person, a new family that had to deal with this kind of stuff. So I do this to try to help make amends to my son, and I think it's what he would want me to do. I know it's what God wants me to do. If you see this video and you're buying street drugs, just know that it's a matter of time. It's not if you're going to die, it's you're going to die. You're going to die. There's going to be that time where you take that lethal dose from some idiot on the street that just sold you dope. So sobriety is the way to go, man. You can get your life together, and it's possible for anybody to get sober. So you guys hang in there. Remember, fake it till you make it. If you don't believe in God, get on your knees. Try this. Get on your knees. Ask God for a miracle in your life if you're still drinking and using drugs. Get on your knees. Try it for 5 days in a row. Okay? And then see what happens. If something amazing happens, hit me in the comments box. But you got to try it 5 days in a row. Once in the morning, once in the evening. I promise you something's going to happen.